I'm Sam, and this is Amazing Travels.
2 weeks in Seoul, and it has just been absolutely amazing. I think I have fallen in love with this city. It is just so dynamic. I kicked off this week with a hike in Bukhansan National Park. Before I got there, I was looking a little lost at the bus station, and an older man approached me and he's like, "Where are you headed?" And I told him I wanted to do the hike. And he says, "Well, that's exactly where I'm going. Just follow me." Naturally, I followed this stranger because always trust first. That's either great travel advice or really terrible travel advice, but it's always worked for me. Turns out Daeshun and I, who is about 70, ended up doing the entire hike to Baegundae Peak together. It took us about 5 hours to complete it, but it was so amazing. The views were just marvelous, and Daeshun and I had a bond and made a memory forever. The locals just kept being friendly. I met Jeanette at the metro because once again I was looking a little lost, so she offered to help, and then we get talking and she's like, "Man, I wish I could take you to all my favorite spots." And I was like, "You can, please do." We made a date and we went out on Friday night and it was awesome. Another highlight this week has to be my visit to the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone, which is that buffer space between South Korea and North Korea. It's only 2 kilometers wide, and when you get there, it's obviously way close. North Korea is so close. It was so strange kind of being there because there's this platform where you can overlook and see into North Korea, and you're kind of just like, don't really feel danger, but if you think about it, then you're kind of like, anything could happen at this very moment. I'm still here, so nothing happened. It's probably one of the most interesting things I've done while traveling because I've never really traveled to a place where you're not really allowed to go or no one knows anything about this place, or at least not like solid, definite information. By the way, saw no people actually there as I looked through the binocular things. On the brighter side of things, something you have to do if you're in South Korea is go to a baseball game. They are huge baseball fans, and one of the coolest things is that the stadium has the home team and the visiting team in the same stadium, so they like divide it in half. So there's just as many fans for the home team as there is for the away team. I had never been to a game of any sport that was so like two-sided. It was perfect. The fans on the other side were cheering, we were cheering. It was just absolutely the most amazing experience, and I highly recommend it if you're there. All these amazing things you gotta check out right now here in the Week in Review. Making my way to Bukhansan National Park to hike Baegundae Peak, the views from street level were already amazing. Meet Daeshun, who I hiked all the way up the mountain with. You got to see buildings, waterfalls, nature.
Difficult? Easy.
Glad we went for easy because it wasn't that easy, and Daeshun and I kind of got a little lost, but we made it back on track. Going up there. Lots of steps were involved, but we could see the Namsan Tower all the way from where we were, which is just incredible. The views just kept becoming more and more spectacular, and then we realized, oh my god, this is gonna get real steep real quick, and it did. We had to pull ourselves up. Made it! Amazingly awesome views, but what else can you expect from Seoul's tallest peak, standing at over 2,700 feet? It was amazing to see the city's buildings just nestled amongst all these mountains that surround it. I mean, it was breathtaking from up there. Super worth the hike, and the way down as well. Now we're gonna get some more city views from something a little bit more modern, the Lotte Tower, which is the 6th tallest building in the world at over 1,800 feet. It was a little trippy as we walked in. Unexpected, just like this reveal of the view. It was so cool. From up here, you by far get the best view of the city. You see the Namsan Tower, all the skyscrapers, all the residential areas, and you also get to see the mountains, which from there I got to see Baegundae Peak, which I had hiked before. We always love a glass bottom floor, and the sky terrace was the coolest because you could feel the wind while enjoying the view. Kind of like being outside. Now we are in Hongdae, which is a trendy, hip, young neighborhood with Lots of restaurants, bars, and places to go out. Here's Jeanette, who I met earlier on the metro this week, and she's like, let me take you out and show you my favorite spots. We went to that bakery and to this restaurant called 1992. It specializes in Korean liquor, and we weren't going to be shy about it. We were going to get our fill. Jeanette taking care of us tonight.
I'm very concentrating
on the alcohol.
Reading all this explanation.
Because I can, you know, unfortunately. Started off with a chestnut makgeolli, which is a rice wine.
So this is called makgeolli, and all the rice is like down here. We have to mix it together.
The rice wine and the food were so good, I forgot to film the other bottle of rice wine we drank, but trust me, it was delicious. And here is the food we ate. I mean, stacked with deliciousness. Afterwards, we hit up a photo booth because Jeanette says Koreans love it, and we gotta do it. Ooh, that's the look, that's the look. We're gonna, let's go. Not only do these photo booths print out your picture, but they also record you as you're taking the photo, and then they send you the file, so you got a live action of what you were doing. Super awesome. That's us saying goodbye to Jeanette. Bye! Next day, as I head to the Demilitarized Zone, the DMZ, well, I had to give up my passport, which is kind of scary, and here it goes into a bag.
There you have your passport.
Thank you. What you're looking at is the DMZ. The south limit of the DMZ is the blue line, and the red is the north limit. This is the Bridge of Freedom, where POWs were exchanged from north and south after the peace treaty was reached in the 50s. Here we have a monument dedicated to the US, who helped in the Korean War, and then I was starting to film some military activities, which you're really not supposed to do, but I found it very interesting. I mean, don't you? They have my passport right now, so I might get taken for that video, but, you know, worth it for you. You can see. Casual amusement park they have built here, hoping for reunification. It seems they're also going to have a festival here in this zone, which is kind of odd considering the threat, but you know, time for a ride. Gondola ride all to myself, crossing the river. Really awesome scenery here because it's demilitarized and people really don't live here. There's nothing going on, so nature really has a chance to flourish. Please notice this barbed wire along the river. Yeah, dangerous for sure. We are at an ex-American military base where you can learn a lot about the DMZ.
What kind of mine are we talking about here? Like B-mine, because that's a heart?
Or like, be careful, there is a mine there. Tour guide confirmed that if it says mine, there is an actual landmine there. So please be careful and don't just run around the DMZ, even though it's very touristy, as you can see. Now we're in the third tunnel walkway, which basically is the closest you can get to North Korea. You walk that tunnel all the way down to where it says the third blockade, and you're only 170 meters from North Korea. Sadly, no footage of the tunnel because, well, you're not allowed to bring cameras. Now walking up to the observatory.
Suspicious.
Good news, that wasn't poisonous gas, just something to cool us off. Here is the observatory, and I'm gonna get a view of North Korea from the telescope. That is the North Korean flag, and this is the South Korean flag, face to face. Right now, you're looking at North Korea and its propaganda village, which no one really lives in, and this is the JSA where that guy got arrested for running across the border. Yeah, you used to be able to tour there. Overall, taking a peek at North Korea was very interesting and kind of cool. This Saturday evening takes us to Banpo Park, where the locals were just enjoying the beautiful sunset and the Rainbow Bridge light show, which is about 1,800 feet of spouting water and lights. Pretty cool. So many people gather to watch this. I went to the other side of the bridge and the light show is not as visible, but look at the amount of people out there enjoying it. Next day, I laced up my shoes and went for a run with the hotel who organized it. Time to buy some tickets.
So we're sitting close to home team.
The Bears against the Lions, Korean baseball. We chose the Bears as our team, and the fans are super into it. They do this tailgating sort of thing where they go to little stands outside the stadium and eat and drink, so we did the same because we're diehard fans now, obviously. The line to get in, casual. Then I noticed something odd. You can bring things into the stadium? Super wild. You're allowed to bring any alcohol in the stadium as long as it's below 8%. And you can bring food in. I mean, there's not even a limit. It's crazy. Bears. Yeah, we bought jerseys. Bears! Game kicked off and it wasn't long before our Bears scored a home run. Seriously, the fans went wild. Our group included in those fans. Let's go, let's go, let's go, Bears! This vibe was the perfect way to end our trip in Seoul.